Oh, what the fuck? All right. Hello, everybody. This is Crab 9 Games. If you're new to my channel, that was intro to tell you that this is not for your children. So stop. With the children watching my channel, there's absolutely no need for it, by the way. I know this is a weird way to start a video, but you know what? I just thought about it. I was just talking to my wife about it. If I get any more messages from parents, from shitty parents who just put YouTube on and walk out of the room about me swearing, nothing I can do about it, but I'm just going to continue swearing, and I'll list all this shit under the kids' channels, whatever. Anyways, hey, everybody. That was 30 seconds of quick ranting. Hey, everybody, this is Correct from 9 Games, and today I'm going to do, worst to best Mortal Kombat series. Don't worry, I wrote everything down this time, so we don't have an incident what happened with the Resident Evil one, where I skipped over Resident Evil 0. In that video, in between, it was supposed to come before Resident Evil 7. And I said, am I going to switch the order? No, I'm not going to switch the order. I did, and I forgot to put Resident Evil 0 back in there. So, in this one, I wrote everything down, so we won't have the same issues. But Mortal Kombat, as many of you know, is one of my favorite series ever. I play that shit all the time. I'm so close to platinuming MKX finally. But you know, I got my pop figures going on. I'm very excited about this one. Because Mortal Kombat has not always been a good series, and I will be the first one to admit it. Being as big of a Mortal Kombat fan as I am, we got a lot of shit. Like, half of them shit, in my opinion, and we'll get to it. All right, so, oh yeah, I even wrote down honorable mentions. I have a copy of Shaolin Monks, which is going to be in the honorable mentions, but it's in a generic case from GameStop, so I left it over there. All right, let's get into the worst, huh? The worst. Now, this one's, I think, the worst from a fighting game standpoint. It's not necessarily the worst. I don't know. We're going to say from the fighting game standpoint, this one. And I played the shit out of Mortal Kombat 4 in arcades. And then Mortal Kombat Gold is what's roped in here, because Mortal Kombat Gold is just an upgraded version of 4. There's really no variety in all the characters. Pretty much all the characters have the same moves. The combos are done pretty much the same for every character. And for that, there really was no variety. I think some of the characters were uninspired. One of my favorite characters, though, who I wish we would see in a newer Mortal Kombat game, is Rico. And he was in that game. I liked Rico. The gold variation I liked because it put Cyrax and Sector in it. But again, after your teleport, there's really nothing. There's no meat on those bones. The fatalities were really lame. And it's sad because Mortal Kombat 4 introduced a lot of characters that you see now in MKX, you know, your Shinnok and your Quan Chi and all that. I mean, they really introduced them. They were in mythologies, but we'll get into that later. But Mortal Kombat 4, in retrospect, was I think one of the worst fighting games of all time. Just because there's no variety between the characters. But I can't spend too much time on all these because I'll fuck up. Here's another one. Right, we got one with no variety, and then we got one with way too much. Right? Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Mortal Kombat Armageddon was basically tried to be a love letter to all Mortal Kombat fans in the sense that, hey, we're going to put every character we've ever had in Mortal Kombat in one game. Problem with that was they took away traditional fatalities and they did your own creative fatalities. So even at that, there was really, you know there's not going to be a lot of attention paid to each individual character because there's so many, but they skipped out on, fatalities. That could have at least been one thing. It could have been just fan service and something that you can play real quick and just check out a fatality. Or, I mean, it had a pretty cool story mode where ultimately I believe it was Noob Saibot turned out to be the good guy or the final victor. But obviously it went so fucking off the rails that they went and retconned the entire story. It was Armageddon didn't happen. Kind of. We'll get into that in a different video. But Armageddon had, whereas Mortal Kombat didn't have enough, Armageddon had way too much, and that was pretty much it. So you're gonna see it's a trend here. Deadly Alliance. Deadly Alliance. I actually used to own an original Xbox or Xbox original, but I had major issues with the Xbox original. What is in here? Oh, it is the game. I felt like something else is floating in here. Now I got wicked hyped. I bought that the day it came out. Original Xbox. I had issues with it. In the disc tray, apparently it wasn't reading the disc, so I went back and I got a couple more copies of it. and then ultimately settled on PS2. It looked good at the time it came out, um, but the shift to actual 3D, where it wanted to be Tekken or Soul Calibur because of the weapons, it didn't feel right to me. I don't know. Uh, they added these great modes with the conquest mode and all that, which carried on into the next one. But there wasn't. I don't know. It felt like the game was uninspired. It went like Mortal Kombat went from being dark to being silly, and it was really starting with 4, but then it was amplified where it tried to take itself seriously in the story and then still be over the top, ridiculous, like ridiculously funny. And it didn't strike that balance that it has in like, you know, MKX, MK9 in the original games. Uh, I don't know. If I went back and played it now, it's corny. Plus, they use that shitty Adema song to promote it. Yeah. Immortal. Google that one. Google that music video. See what I'm talking about. You can't go back and play that. Now, on the next turn of things, Mortal Kombat Deception was one of my favorite of the 3D games. It sounds like it's loose, but it's not. I hate that. I hate that when something feels like it's loose and it's not. Mortal Kombat Deception was good because it brought back, one of my favorite versions of Melina. It brought back Baraka, a really badass version of Baraka. The gameplay was a little bit faster, a little bit tighter on the mechanics. Deception is pretty widely regarded as one of the best of the 3D Mortal Kombats, and rightfully so. It was a really good game. I couldn't find a lot of people to stay interested to actually play with me, but it had a puzzle game that I played the shit out of. I wish they would bring back Puzzle Combat as a downloadable game, please. I've spammed the shit out of Ed Boon. I'm surprised he hasn't blocked me yet. In fact, I haven't done it in a couple of years. Maybe it's time to start doing it again. Can you guys, please spam Ed Boon to make Puzzle Combat and just put it out. Puzzle Combat, all you gotta do, I don't give a shit, you put it on the phone. It was great. It was just a puzzle game, which I guess now is like, it's almost like a match 3 now, but it was really fun. You pick a character and they had their own like different abilities, and you did the puzzles, and then the characters would be fighting at the bottom. It was great. And then at the end, whoever lost the match got a fatality performed on them by chibi versions of Mortal Kombat characters. It was great. I wish they would bring that back. It was better than the minigame they put in the fucking Armageddon, which is motor combat, right? This shit was stupid. Right? Is that an Armageddon? I gotta look it up now. Yeah, this one had chess and puzzle combat. And then this had fucking motor combat. Get out of here with that garbage. But I did used to like the chess combat. I thought that was pretty cool too. That was a nice spin on a classic game. Alright, so let's get into the that's right. We'll get to it in honorable mentions, but I didn't even count one of these games as an actual game. And I've done videos on it. I'm not going to do them again. So now we're getting into, I guess, the top half of what's great. And we'll go with, oh god, I need a new case for this, huh? The original. ABAC, ABB, get over here. Blood Code, baby. Blood Code. It's a classic. It had so little, but whereas Mortal Kombat 4 didn't have an excuse because they had games with more content beforehand, Mortal Kombat was the first of the batch. And all its popularity came from the violence. You know what I mean? Whereas now you can appreciate Mortal Kombat as an actual fighting game. When it originally started, it was the violence. And Mortal Kombat 1, it was fun. That was a fun arcade game. I played it mostly at home, but the arcade, I mean, it set this, I don't know, the arcade version was better. It set the standard for, like, what separated it from Street Fighter. And the characters were instantly recognizable. Get Over Here was burned into so many children's brains. And now that they're adults, you say Get Over Here, and you're like, that guy. Ooh, 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 that guy. I can't. It's backwards. That guy. There you go. Everyone knows who's Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, Liu Kang, Sonya, and Kano are. Well, maybe Kano and well, everyone knows who Liu Kang is. I don't know. Everyone my age knows who they are. My kids know Mortal Kombat characters, sadly. It's because I have the pops. They can never get Liu Kang, but everyone knows the original cast from Mortal Kombat. It's part of gaming history. But Oh, one more. It is part of gaming history because this guy's fatality was one of the big fucking benchmark points for the ESRB creation. And then there's this. Dun, dun, dun. MA17. How you like that? Whereas I think Mortal Kombat 1 just said GA to general audience. But Mortal Kombat 2, I skipped. I skipped. Idiot. Mortal Kombat 2 is higher than that. You know it is. Let's do this. Hey. Boop, boop. Mortal Kombat 3. I love Mortal Kombat 3. I think I've told this story before about Mortal Kombat 3, where I was down in Florida the day that it launched, and they had the biggest arcade machines I've ever fucking seen. And we went to an arcade the day that it launched. The big freestanding arcade, the big ass screen, and they had a space between the actual screen, like a big standing space where an announcer could be in the middle. Like, it was a big deal. Two of my all-time favorite characters came out in 3, which is Sector and Cabal. But Sector is definitely of the 3. Sector is my favorite of the Borgs. You know what I mean? So much so that I'm getting a Sector tattoo. I think I've said that in a video past, but oh yeah, definitely one of my all-time favorite characters. And the game itself was great, but I know I did like MK4 and MK Gold, right? But I'm doing these separate. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is one of my favorite, not just one of my favorite Mortal Kombats, it's one of my favorite arcade machines, period. That was the first time I paid attention to fighting games where they actually would patch things. Like, they didn't do patching because it wasn't the internet, but they made tweaks on characters. That was the actual difference between Ultimate. They added more content in Ultimate, obviously. Again, one of my favorite, I don't know if you can see him on the back, but one of my favorite characters now of all time, Ermac, came out in this, and they made tweaks on Cabal. They nerfed Cabal from Mortal Kombat 3 to Ultimate. So that's when I started to notice, they at least will level the playing field, which is, a standard now in any fighting game. But Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, man, most bang for your buck. I gotta stop saying that. I think when I wrote the list, I just roped in Trilogy into Ultimate. I mean, it had the changes from Ultimate in Trilogy, and then they just added, the rest of the cast from Mortal Kombat from 1 and up, and it was fun. I mean, the only new characters I believe were Chameleon. I didn't really like them, but I do actually prefer the N64 version over the PS version. I don't know why. Mortal Kombat, for some reason, this might be hard to believe, but Mortal Kombat actually felt comfortable to me on N64 controller over the PlayStation controller, which I couldn't tell you nowadays. With the modern games, definitely not true. But for some reason, 4 and Trilogy felt really good on a N64 controller. I can't explain why. Okay, so top three. And then I'll do that honorable mentions before I get to number 1. Oh yeah, some of you are here because of you played me in this, right? Boom, boom, boom. Obviously, I have the complete edition, but I bought these day one, and I downloaded. I feel like I got dust flew up my nose. I probably can't wait to watch this back and see it. All right, so Mortal Kombat 9. I bought the collector's edition of MK9 for the PS3, and then I bought that Ultimate Edition for the Xbox 360, which came with the fight stick. It wasn't a fight stick, because they say fight stick and then people think Mad Cats. It was a PvP stick, which I have another one up there too of the original arcade cabinet replica. It's got to be in a video somewhere. I did debate, but there's so much shit over here. I debated getting it just to show it off. I might still stand up and get it. But yeah, that revitalized the series like no other. I don't know. I know Street Fighter 4 came out before, and Street Fighter 4 came out and it like revitalized the fighting game the fighting game scene pretty much, put it back in mainstream. But the fact is, the fighting game scene was still being carried on, and Capcom games were still extremely popular. Mortal Kombat brought Mortal Kombat into the fighting game scene is the way I see it. Mortal Kombat was played by people like me, and I didn't go to tournaments, and I didn't play I played other fighting games, but I didn't play it competitively. until Mortal Kombat came out, I actually didn't even care about winning or losing to other people. And then I got really competitive with that game. And now, I mean, I've calmed down with it. I don't really get excited about it anymore. But Mortal Kombat 9, if any of you have played me on it, you know how excited I got. If I pulled off a brutality on you in Mortal Kombat 9, it went on my Twitter. Which is super, like, that's double embarrassing. But I used to do that. I don't know. Mortal Kombat 9 was great. And like I said, my favorites are put in there. Cabal, Cyrax, and Ermac. And they made Ermac so badass. If you ever played me in Mortal Kombat, you got hands-on with Ermac. I got you with Cyrax. I got you with Sector. I got you with Cabal. Boom! Ah, I love that game. And I just heard that Combo Breaker, by the way. Combo Breaker tournament is having MK9. How exciting is that? It's making its way back into tournament scenes, which means that there needs to be a new Mortal Kombat announcement. But anyways, right on to the next, right? The next. Who I showed you earlier. Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 2 is the game that made me an arcade rat. That's why it's so high up on this list. I played Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, Ultimate, and 4 in the arcade, but I've never dumped so much money into a game as I have in Mortal Kombat 2. And the only difference is, I had to actually go to a mall to go in arcade to play the rest. Mortal Kombat 2 was down the street for me when I was a kid. It was long ass streets, but 2 streets away. The ice hockey rink that my sister used to play hockey at had Mortal Kombat. I used to play hockey at it too, but I didn't stick with it. I did stick with Mortal Kombat though, but it had an arcade machine for Mortal Kombat. It's still one of the arcade machines I want the most, but it's actually expensive for a complete arcade machine. So if anybody wants to donate me a Mortal Kombat 2 arcade machine, please feel free. Yeah. There's much to say about it. I said everything I've ever wanted to say about Mortal Kombat. I did individual videos for every one of these games, but I wanted to do a best to worst of it because I did individual videos, like I said, but I've never told you which ones are my favorites because you see the way that I play these. So you know what the number one's going to be because that's pretty much all I've been playing up until God of War came out. But honorable mentions, right? I know this is Mortal Kombat 8, but I don't consider this a Mortal Kombat game. And everyone knows my gripes with this game. I don't think it's terrible, and I thought the story mode was really cool. But if they didn't let you sidestep like Tekken in the fucking arena and they locked it in 2D, that would have been this game with DC characters in it. But, you know, the split from this is the game still sold pretty well. Okay, regardless of having the fatalities taken out and just being a kind of an awkward game because it's hard with the projectiles that move so slow in this game, but you can just sidestep out of the way. Pretty much makes a lot of characters ineffective. But, you know, we got a really brutal Mortal Kombat next, and then we got a really awesome DC fighting game out of it. So it gets an honorable mention because I still don't consider that a Mortal Kombat game. But we got one fixed franchise and then one really great franchise was Injustice out of it. It just dominates fucking sales and everything. Like, they did a really good job. So that game was an abomination that I firmly believe is the reason that when Midway got shut down, NetherRealm Studios got bought by WB. So I think that game did a lot for being kind of a piece of garbage. And then this honorable mention. It's not as bad as people think it is, okay? I mean, it's weird as shit. It's corny. The costume people are corny, but I mean, it gives you a little backstory. It's something that I always think that Mortal Kombat has that over Street Fighter or pretty much any other fighting game. I think the story is amazing, and the testament to that is I actually recently found this out. I wanted to tell Dan, and I saw him today and forgot. But Ono, from Street Fighter, said the one thing that he's jealous of in Mortal Kombat is the story mode. He's jealous of the lore that's been surrounded and made around Mortal Kombat, and he was jealous of the story mode of the last 2 games. So I'm telling you, the lore in Mortal Kombat is awesome, and I'm pretty sure they made it up as they went with each game, but for some reason, that shit just stuck, and it's really good. So as corny as Mythologies is, you know, it gets brought up, and if you played Mythologies and Mortal Kombat X have a lot in common. Dishonorable mention is going to be Special Forces. Special Forces is the only Mortal Kombat game I don't own. Like I said, I have Shaolin Monks, but it's in a generic case over there. That's a game I want remade, and I would like to do a remake this, if you guys remember that. I said I have more series to do. Yes, I do. I want to do a remake this for Shaolin Monks, because that's a game that really needs a remake. It's one of the best side-scrolling... Well, it's not side-scrolling, but... Jesus Christ. It's one of the best beat-em-ups, I think, of all time. Okay, so, number one, I don't own a hard copy of anymore, because I had it on PS4 and I lent it to somebody and they took too long to give it back, so I ended up buying it digitally on PS4, and that's what you guys see me playing all the time. And I also bought it digitally on Xbox to play with my sister, who ended up not playing with me. So, I have Mortal Kombat XL on PS4 and Mortal Kombat XL on Xbox One. I love these games. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Not just one of my favorite fighting games or my favorite. It's not just my favorite Mortal Kombat. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's my secondary game. It's the game that I play on the side while I'm playing other games. It's like God of War's out right now. I played God of War for hours last night, and it's still in my PlayStation. But there's going to be some point at tonight where I go, and then I turn on Mortal Kombat, and then that's it. I'm trying to platinum that game. So if anybody wants to play some online with me, let's go. I mean, I don't know. I like Mortal Kombat, and I'm really clinging to X, and I think it's a great series. It's a series that helped shape the landscape of our entire video game industry. But every time they announce a new game, I do get a little excited, but I get way more cautious because, you know, Armageddon wasn't good, and Deception was only good because Alliance was not that great, and 4 was garbage, and Gold was garbage, and I don't know. While they're all fun games in some aspect, they're not all good games. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I'm excited for the next Mortal Kombat, but we're in the territory of the 3D games story-wise, okay? That's where we are in the story. Anyone who knows the story knows that we are in Deadly Alliance territory, but they have to change the story because Quan Chi and Shang Tsung are dead. And, well, depending on what ending you pick, I mean, Shang Tsung came back through Ermac's ending. Like, but if you go by the actual story mode, they could skip over and they could do... I mean, the story in where is it now? The story in Deception was good. It was its saving grace, and I think it's why it got such high review scores. Now, if we could all just get together and get Ed Boon to put Onaga in the next game, we can skip right to Deception. They can do the thing where Armageddon doesn't happen, or they can retcon the story and fix it. I don't know. But please, make sure they bring back some of these characters. Sidebar, this one's a big one. I forgot this in my video when I said what I wanted out of the next Mortal Kombat. And you guys can agree with me on this. Now, I'm not big on DLC, but I will buy the DLC for Mortal Kombat because Mortal Kombat and Injustice, they give you characters that aren't their property. You know what I mean? Like, we got Ninja Turtles, we got Hellboy, and Injustice. And then, you know, Mortal Kombat, we get the horror movie icons. But there's one character that I think fits perfectly in Mortal Kombat, and that's Doom Guy. We need Doom Guy in Mortal Kombat. Why is Doom Guy, who's one of his ultimate powers is to punch people in the giblets, he just smashes them into red mist. Why isn't he a Mortal Kombat character? Not a Mortal Kombat character, but why isn't he a special guest? Next Mortal Kombat, I vote for Doom Guy to be in. I'm going to put this up on Twitter after this video goes on, and then you can retweet it to Ed Boon all you want. But thank you guys for watching. The next video that I'm going to do is going to be the last worst the best that I do, and it's going to be Devil May Cry. Not the last one, but it's the last one for a while, because like I said, I got remake this and other things I want to do. Actually, that's a lie. Next video that I do is a theory for Silent Hill 2, and then I do the Devil May Cry where it's the best. Alright, Gary? Cool. Thank you guys for watching.